Hi everyone, this is Heidi Connolly, your down-to-earth medium. I'm really excited because I have started doing a TV show with Buck Pavoni, whose program is called Higher Ground, on TC Media, the station in Olympia, Channel 22. The first session we did was a straight interview with me. But this next one is with a group of people, most of whom have never been to a medium before, some of whom I know. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of things, the afterlife, their questions about being highly perceptive, highly sensitive, and of course we're going to be doing some mediumship. This is my happy place. This is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to explore this subject matter without any kind of fear, right? We don't have to worry about it. We don't have to seem like we have to steer away from the subject. So listen to the program. I hope you enjoy it, and watch for upcoming new ones on Channel 22 Olympia, on Buck Pavoni's Higher Ground. Again, this is Heidi Connolly, your down-to-earth medium, and I thank you so much for being here.
Hello and welcome to Higher Ground. We're at TC Media Studios here in Olympia. It's public access television, and as you probably have seen and heard, public access, let's say PBS, NPR, any of the public stations have been taking a hit as far as funding goes. And it's always been helping out in any way we can, but we have a great crew behind us today. This wouldn't be possible without doing that. So I want to welcome Heidi Connolly and everybody here. Thank you ever so much.
Take it away, me?
Take it away.
Okay. Yes, so I'm Heidi Connolly. I'm really happy to be here with you all because this is our really pilot show. We did one show before where Buck and I just basically had an interview with Q&A. But this is the kind of thing that we really look forward to doing, where people can come in a very, very intimate setting and discuss all things related to the afterlife and what it means to be a medium, what it means to be a psychic, any questions that you have. Plus, I get to tap into the spirit world and be guided with what I am speaking to you about and what they want to say to you, the messages that they want to convey and why they want to convey them. So it's really up to you, as comfortable as you are. I'm not going to pick on anyone. On the other hand, I cannot speak for the spirit world, because if they want to pick on you, that may happen. But you shouldn't be afraid. Nothing bad will happen, I promise you. So this week, as I was getting ready for this, I kept hearing about that I should mention how the word humanity has been really upsetting for me, and that the language we use, how important that is. So instead of humankind, which uses the word man, I want to use the word one kind. And I know it won't fit all sentences. I know it won't fit everywhere. And I just feel like everything has such a powerful vibration. If we're talking about something and using language without realizing how powerful the frequency is, we really keep using it. And the effect it has on us and other people is really profound. And we are here because we're all seekers, right? I don't know, I pretty much know enough about each of you, even though you haven't all been clients. I don't know you all very well, and some of you I haven't even met before, but how did you feel when you were growing up? Did you feel like a misfit? Did you feel like me, that I was from another planet altogether? I just felt like I didn't understand why I was here. I didn't understand my purpose. I didn't think I had a purpose. I felt so displaced and misplaced. And so as much of my messages, all of my message is guided by Spirit. I'm tapping in as I speak to you. I'm listening as I speak to you. That is all with the directive, the suggestion, the invitation. They get pretty close to directive, but really it's more of an invitation, because if we don't want to take the invitation from the spirit world, we don't have to. It doesn't mean they're not going to kick our butt a little bit if we don't take their suggestions, because they're always trying to make our lives easier. So what are they trying to do to make it so that we feel we do have a purpose, that we do fit here? Whether we're star seeds, whether we're from the Pleiades, whether we're Blue Angel, I mean, we could go all over the place there, and there are plenty of people who do. That's not really my thing. My thing is, how can I help you with the guidance I get from Spirit to make you more content on this plane? Because we are all vacationing angels, okay? We're spirit, we come down here in human form. And when we get here, we say, what the F were we thinking? Because this is not fun, and it doesn't feel like a vacation. And so why, from an angelic perspective, is it a vacation? Any suggestions? Why would it feel like a vacation?
Maybe because it's temporary.
Because it's
We
temporary.
know it's temporary, and we have to make the best of it.
Okay, so vacations are generally temporary.
Generally, I wish
Yes.
they were not, but
Yeah, and we do have to make the best of it. But is that from an angelic perspective the way they'd see it?
I think they see it as a possibility to come down and learn and grow and evolve.
Yeah, hold the mic up, please, so that, yeah, thank you.
Is that fine?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just in spirit realm, to come down and to evolve your spirit is the entire goal here. So I do think that would be a vacation. I think, you're waiting in line to come down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure your opinion.
Yeah, and do you think we choose to
Yeah,
come down?
Absolutely.
How many of you think that we made this choice to be here? Did you choose to come down in this lifetime?
I don't know that I wanted to come. I've given the message that I was told to come because I had a mission, but certainly as a child I was very, I had an early awakening where I knew I was going to be doing something in healing, and so from there I was always talking to fairies and doing. My parents were like, "What is wrong with you?" And in fact, I even got sent to a psychologist who actually decided I was really okay. But
Oh, lucky for you.
because they didn't know what to do with me. But I think that people are fearful, but it's actually a beautiful thing to be connected as much as we can. And I think we have to just break open the stereotypes about people are crazy or woo-woo and start embracing this other side of life. It's a beautiful thing.
Because for us, it feels normal.
It feels normal
It's totally normal.
and all good.
Right, yeah. I think oh, sorry, go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think the choice of the life you incarnate into isn't at the personality level, so it's at an entity level. So from our consciousness in this life, it's hard to really understand and grasp what our choices were, because we're identifying as our human personality in this incarnation, and the choice was at a level of our total entity, which is this personality unified with the totality of what we are. So it's just at such a different level.
It is, and we take on an identity, but our soul has a much broader perspective. And so I think as that energetic form, we say, yeah, we'll come down and we'll be, a female or male or bi or gay or trans, or we'll fit in the body or we won't fit in the body, or we'll have curly hair, or we'll, play an instrument. But then, and we'll come down to the family we come down into, and then we say, what the F, because this is not as easy as we hoped it would be. Why is it a vacation? Because we get to experience all the senses.
Yeah, I'm not sure that vacation's the best word, because people do choose challenges. So what you're engaging when you come into this life isn't necessarily a vacation. Although my ex-wife did say, when they asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up, she said she wanted to be on vacation.
And you see, this is what I've learned from my dead husband, who said, I had a vacation as your husband. The reason it's a vacation, we have to remember, it's not from the physical realm perspective of this identity, like you were saying. It's not from that. It's from the angelic perspective. Because they say, I want to eat. I want to taste pizza. I want to have sex. I want to swim in the ocean. Do you know, these are I want to be able to hear with my ears, see with my eyes. As an energetic being, you don't have that potential. So this is a way to say, I choose to go down. From an angelic perspective, it's a vacation. That, for me, changed my life. Because every day I wake up saying, I chose this, but I can navigate it. How am I going to navigate this vacation? From a spiritual perspective. So exactly to your point, I want to evolve. And I think one of the biggest paradoxes in the physical realm is that we're looking at how can we want to evolve spiritually more and more and more and more and more to be happier as a human. And we really can't be really happy as a human unless we do evolve spiritually. And so it's this constant interactive and philosophical approach that gets us there. If I don't meditate, I don't feel okay anymore. It took me years to get there, but now if I miss a meditation, it's like missing 3 meals. I don't feel connected. So that contributes to where we go next. How is that perspective going to shift how we perceive humanity? What are we here for? How are we interacting with the greater good of humanity? If we live in fear, if we live in a place of hatred, we are not contributing energetically. And that, I think, is our overarching purpose, to contribute with a loving energy that says, well, and this is hysterical, because this morning I got Spanky in our gang. And so, of course, I wrote it down because I thought that must mean something. Do you remember Alfalfa? And did you ever see those old movies? I mean, they are just priceless. That little Spanky just has more personality than, right? And so what I clicked on, the first thing I saw was Alfalfa writing a letter to Darla. And Alfalfa's the one with the slicked hair and the little thing that goes whoop, right? What's that called? A cowlick? Dear Darla, I hate your stinking guts. You make me vomit. You're scum between my toes. Love, Alfalfa. And so I thought to myself, that's so perfect in regards to one kind, in regards to this, no matter how much I feel as a human being oppressed, angry, resentful, upset about certain people, politics, whatever happens to be, can I end it with, I love you? From the perspective of a vacationing angel. From that perspective, I don't have to like you. I don't have to want to hang out with you. I don't want to have dinner with you. I don't want to be your friend. But can I love you as another one of the oneness? And if I can accept the oneness in myself and understand that we are all part of fragments of the oneness, can I live from that generous, kind perspective? And the spirit world is here to help us do that. So how many here have heard from spirit, seen spirit, clairvoyant, clairsentient, claircognizant, anything? Okay, right. So I don't have to convince anybody here. There are plenty of skeptics. But that's not our goal, right? That's not our job. We're not here to have people to say, you must believe, and this is what I know, because it's experiential, right? You know because you felt it and experienced it. No one can take that from us. It's not something that can be given or taken away. But when we have it and believe it, it can guide us through our whole lives. And that's what makes me so happy. So happy. Okay, so a couple of questions for you. Anyone here relate to anyone named Roy? Because that was a name given to me this morning. Roy? A Roy, a name of Roy, R-O-Y. A dead person, okay. Because they show up in advance, you guys, so I sort of carry them around, these lists of names. Charles. Anyone who relates to Charles who did not like to be called Chuck? Vehemently opposed to Chuck. No one? Okay, so if you meet anyone that comes into your purview over the next week or so, just let me know. I also...
We watched Seabiscuit last night.
Seabiscuit?
And his name was Charles, the owner.
Uh-huh.
We just looked that up this morning. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, we watched Seabiscuit last night, and the owner's name was Chuck, but they called him Henry. So, Charles.
Charles.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's.
Did that movie have an effect on you?
It was good.
It was an underdog story, so it's a really interesting on seeing how much like someone's perspective can change on how fast like everything can change. And the perspective of like, because the very first owner of this horse was like, he has no potential. He was basically the loser. But then at the end, it's the little bit of hope that you put into an animal that is so angry with the world for like turning its back on it. That's when you get a winner. So it's so interesting to learn how much like, not like personality, but like, I don't know the word for it. It's just so interesting to see how much things can change in such a little amount of time. And it's the people like you surround yourself with that put that into you.
So how does that affect you in your life? Do you think about that how small things can affect you?
Yeah, I've had events like freshman year I broke my foot in a horse riding accident. And it was really crazy because like I used to ride horses all the time. It was my thing. And then it was just like it changed. Cause
It's okay. It's okay.
And in the story, the guy broke his leg as well, because he was in a riding accident.
That's right.
So it brought, I think, a lot back last night.
Yeah. I mean, that's really powerful stuff. And to say that you can come back, right? You know, when I was young, I was a professional flutist, and then I hurt my jaw, and I couldn't play anymore. And I thought, there's nothing left for me, you know? And my husband played baseball. At 16, he was throwing 96 miles an hour, which, knowing nothing about baseball, I learned was pretty fast. And he hurt his shoulder and couldn't play anymore. And so, what do you do with that in your life? I would never have expected to be here now. I would never have expected to be playing the flute again and doing mediumship of all things and, you know, talking to dead people, really? And so it takes perspective, like you said, to shift the way you feel about things and to grow over time to realize your path would have been this, but it's now this, and what are you going to do with that? And so how have you dealt with it?
Life has just changed a lot. Like, I never thought I would be as much as into cars now that I am. And I feel like with that experience, because I did kind of lose my horsemanship, but then at the same time, I've gotten really into sports and really into cow shows, which has been such a learning experience, because it introduces you to like different parts of agriculture and different parts of like animals. That it's just amazing change, and then like the way things happen makes it really interesting, because like after I broke my foot, I had basically boy problems, which I mean we all have in high school. So, but then at the same time, it was like, okay, I'm done with boys, because with the amount it like hurt to like the inner core, I didn't think I could forgive. Like, no offense, but the male species in general after it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we tend to generalize, yes.
Yeah. But then I met this amazing guy, and he's introduced me to so much that I don't know if I could like ever repay him for what he's brought to me, and just it's been so amazing to like have, because I'm a really anxious person, which like most of the time comes out as like anger or like overly dramatic, but like having a person like he doesn't exactly believe in all this, but the more he's been with me, I think the more he's seen how much different it is, because he's a very mellow guy who's just, I like to like perceive the world as like there's the people in the world that just live the world, like the social like structures and all that, and then there's people like us that like go under that structure and question that structure and don't allow it to tie down what else is possible.
So let's look at that, because the biggest question that I'm hearing in all this is, why am I so anxious and overwhelmed, and why does it turn into anger, and what am I going to do with that? Because that's making it hard for you, yes? So I did bring, if I was smart enough, well, I wasn't smart enough to put it in the thing, but this is my list of what it means to be hyperceptive, which is what you are, highly sensitive. And I don't call it sensitive anymore, because sensitive implies what? Weakness. And that offends me to the core. We are none of us weak. We are strong for our perceptivity. We are awake. We're enlightened beings. We are light beings. But if we have all these things that make life difficult, back to how can we share our light with the world, right? We are the saviors of this world. We are the ones needed, and if we're constantly beaten down by our anxieties and depression and fear and anger, then we can't get there. So, are you easily overwhelmed by strong sensory input? Anyone? I seem to be aware of subtleties in my environment. Other people's moods affect me. I tend to be very sensitive to pain. I mean, it takes me 6 Novocaine, other people 1 shot, so that's me. I find myself needing to withdraw during busy days. Okay. I'm particularly sensitive to the effects of things like caffeine or medicine or drugs of any kind. I have a rich, complex inner life. That's a big one, right? It's like, woo, woo, woo. Okay. I'm easily overwhelmed by things like bright lights, strong smells, coarse fabrics. I mean, right now, I am so itchy. And that's just this constant thing with me, any fabric at all that touches my skin. Sirens. I mean, even when the microwave goes off, I'm up there, please, it does it beep 5 times. Like, my goal is to get there before it even goes off. Okay, I startle easily. I get rattled when I have a lot to do in a short amount of time. I'm annoyed when people try to get me to do too many things at once. I try hard to avoid making mistakes or forgetting things. Changes in my life shake me up. I notice and enjoy delicate or fine scents, tastes, sounds, and works of art. Okay, so I have twice as many on this list, but you can see that those are the people who are called HSPs, highly sensitive people. And when that phrase was coined by Dr. Elaine Freund in the 90s, I had never heard of her, I didn't know. And when I discovered that acronym, I thought, oh my God, I'm saved, that is me. And I started reading books about it. But the reason I have my book called The Power of Perception is because the first edition was called Elevating Your HSP-ness. And I think that is something that we need to change, to shift the way we see our indicators. So for you, perhaps, anger is an indicator. Anxiety is an indicator. Same as for me, all these things. Depression was an indicator. And it was saying there's parts of me that I am unconsciously resistant to. And the spirit world is trying to give me messages. My higher self is trying to give me messages, but I cannot receive them. I cannot hear them. What am I going to do to change that? And it took panic attacks, agoraphobia. That's not leaving the house, right? Yeah. I thought it was the fear of spiders for a minute. We're back to that. But, this whole idea of it got so bad that I had to find a different way. And we don't want to get to that point. That's why I do this. I don't want anyone to get to this point. Yeah.
I just wanted to say one thing on that. When I first met you, I had a lot of anger. Like, I was so angry. And I think after the very first session, you just said, there's your road. You can't do anything on either side. Follow that road. And that was, to just visualize it was huge.
Wow.
And I've heard from a different writer that he said, you going at night, you can only see 200 feet in front of you. Stay in that. Like, that's what you can handle. You can't change anybody else. Stay in your lane. Yeah. That has really helped me, thank you.
Yeah, you are so welcome. It helped me too, because I knew I couldn't do this road anymore. I couldn't do it that way anymore. I was too unhappy. And a lot of people call it the dark night of the soul, and I call it that simply because it was really an abyss. It was a dark place. It was being on that dark bridge and not seeing how I could move further. And at some point, I had to trust there was a better way. And so I began to do the work. And the work is, maybe I'm not angry. Maybe I'm not anxious. Maybe those are energetic vibrations I'm processing, but I don't have to label them as emotions. And as soon as I stop labeling them as emotions, I can process them in a very different way. So the other day I said to you, well, how are you doing? And you said, good. And I said, how are you feeling? And you said, good. If you say good or bad, you're making a judgment about an emotional state. But it doesn't really mean anything. I'm good. I'm fine. It doesn't mean anything. If I say to you, how do you feel in your body? Where does it land? How is it affecting you? Does your chest feel tight? What chakra is it related to? We're going to get to the deep crux of the matter. Anger is one of those things that has an effect on the body. But we're taught not to see that, even by psychologists. They're looking at how do you feel? And what do I say about energy? What do I say about emotion? Emotion is energy in motion. The word emotion is overused and misused. If we look at things in a different way, we are changed. Just like you never saw it that way before. Bruce.
Well, I think there's a lot of connection between emotion and perception. Like, you talk about HSP, so how is HSP related to ESP, what we call extrasensory perception, because a lot of people who have what we might call extrasensory perception tend to be highly perceptive, just, and there's a different reality. So that's some ideas to think about. I also want to ask you, because you
Yes.
mentioned humanity and talking about, what did you call it?
One kind.
One kind. What I wonder, when you say one kind, are you talking about just human beings, or are you talking about all conscious life? Because that's another subject almost, to talk about the consciousness of plants, animals, possibly elementals.
I'd really like
or
to include the whole
interdimensional.
enchilada.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm asking, because there's, the mainstream of society is all about this very rigid, mechanical interpretation of reality, but all of our science is showing us that everything's conscious. In fact, this guy Federico Fagin's written this wonderful book called Irreducible, and he's talking about how consciousness exists at the quantum level. So that throws us back into many other cultures that are called pantheistic or whatever, where they said, oh, they were worshiping spirits or whatever, but that really wasn't where most cultures were coming from. They were talking about, there's a consciousness to everything. And so if we start talking about one kind, to me, well, now we're talking about the consciousness that we're all connected to.
I couldn't agree more. Do you all seekers understand that on a profound level, that we were born with. There's more. I don't understand. I just know there's more. And this is really where my little buddy comes in, my psychic octopus. Because when you, listen, don't take any offense. This was given to me by a 5-year-old that I was working with. When you talk about ESP and you talk about perception, this is who we all are. Every human, every plant, everything that taps into consciousness is affected by everything else. To what degree is the key. But if your psychic tentacles are out, and this is part of what's going on for you, as it did for me, and I think everyone in this room, we can all attest to, we are picking up energy from the world around us. It's when we don't understand how not to do that we get in trouble. So if you're around a lot of negative people and your tentacles are out, they're sort of trolling around, right? They're like, Beth's angry today. Oh, picking that up. Casey's angry. Oh, Marcy's sad. Oh, Josie's ecstatic. Ooh, and you're just, that was me. I was picking up everything from everyone all the time. No wonder I didn't know who I was. No wonder I couldn't connect with spirit, my spirit guides. No wonder I couldn't feel in alignment with who Heidi was. I didn't know who Heidi was. I didn't know how to identify the energetic being that's Heidi. And until we can do that, we can't be our authentic selves. And that's what the spirit world is asking for us and from us. And so when people talk about putting a bubble of light around us or protective devices, how to protect from the world, that for me never worked. Because then I'm protecting against. Can you feel that difference? Feel this energy. Close your eyes for a second and just feel. Say the words to yourself. I have to protect against the bad things in the world. I have to protect myself from other people. I have to protect myself from whatever bad might happen to me. Okay, just feel that energy for a minute. And now, feel the energy of this. If I reel in my psychic tentacles, it takes no effort. I can find and identify and be in my own personal, energetic, unique signature where I am unaffected by all the emotions, the whirlwind of the emotional state and energy of the world around me. I can do it effortlessly. Now, do you feel any difference? Where do you feel it in your bodies?
It's empowering, what you're saying.
It is empowering
Yeah.
tremendously, but where do you feel it? Can you pass the, thank you. Did you feel a different sensation in your body?
Absolutely empowering, and I think that when we are intuitive, we pick things up, we can just be, like you said, totally overcome. But if we stand in our truth and know who we are, we can say, oh, I see that, but I'm not taking it on.
So did you have a different feeling somewhere in your body?
In control and
But where did you feel it?
self-confidence, yes.
Where? Did you feel it in your chest? Did
For
you
me,
feel
I
it in
feel
your
it in my chest. Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Anyone else feel it somewhere? Josie?
Yeah, I felt it in like I was putting a shell up, like my arms were tense.
So for the protecting against.
Yeah,
Yeah.
protecting against, and then it relaxed when
Okay.
I was like, I don't have to fight anything.
Okay.
Just
And does it make you feel vulnerable?
to
If you say, I'm going to relax and I
No.
don't need to push against? No.
no,
So why? Why doesn't it feel vulnerable? Because you're the octopus.
right.
You're in here. This is you. You're all safe and connected in here. This is me. And so people are afraid to be open-hearted because they think it's going to bring on a case of vulnerability. But you can be 100% open-hearted. You can have your heart wide open without feeling vulnerable. Because you know that you are you. You know that you're right in there, your little tentacles are in, and they are so happy. And if they want to go out and explore, they can. You know, they're free to do that. I mean, I always use the gym as my example, but you know, every once in a while, there's someone out there who's catching my attention, and then I have to say, and then maybe I start to sneeze, I start to cough, I feel angry, I don't understand what's going on, I feel overwhelmed, I feel sad, and I say, oh, my tentacles are out. I mean, I literally say that to myself, I'm not in alignment, my tentacles are out, I don't want to go over there, I don't want to see that person, you know, and I just bring myself back into me. Now, if the spirit world would like me to talk to that person, my contract says they will bring the person over to me. So I have a very specific contract with the spirit world, and that person will end up right next to me on the machine, start up a conversation with me. I have no idea why. I have no idea why they end up next to me and start to talk to me. But the spirit world says, their mother's here, their father's here. Tell them something. They're open to it, or they wouldn't have ended up there next to you. So I know we don't have a lot of time left, right?
About 8 minutes.
8 minutes, okay. Oh, you're so good. Do you have a question? You haven't asked a question.
No, I'm just.
I know you're taking it all in,
yes,
right?
sure.
Okay. So I want to give a message to each one of you. How does that feel? Eh? Or good? Oh, I thought you went. Eh. Casey, give me a question.
I want to ask a question about the spirit world.
Yep.
If, like, I've always struggled with having really bad dreams, but then at the same time, I always have that feeling of, like, being watched, and then you hear the footsteps, and you, like, but it's, like, so hard to describe what it is, that it's just, like, a constant feeling of kind of being crushed. And
In the dreams you feel crushed?
like, even when I wake up from the nightmares, it's like, it's still there. Like, it's like having to wait for them to happen. And, like, I feel like I do have something attached to me, but I don't know how to, like, get rid of it.
Okay. The The first thing I recommend for everyone is that you do write a spirit contract in the templates in the book that your mom has. Because that says, if you want, spirit wants you to work with them. They don't want you to be afraid. So you've been given a great gift that you just haven't understood how to use yet. And when you're given that gift, in order to not be afraid, you work with the spirit world and say, listen, don't show up in my dreams like that unless you have a positive message, because I need my sleep. And so I have dreams all night long, every night, all the time. But they don't threaten me anymore. And so I speak to spirit in my dreams, or I have dreams that are trying to communicate something, but they're never terrifying anymore. And so I've learned, okay, come to me in my dream, but don't wake me up, don't make me miserable. I need some beauty sleep, especially at my age. Don't make another wrinkle on my face. So I have I have a humorous engagement with the spirit world. So once you do that and you say, I want to feel safe, I want to feel protected, I want to understand the messages you're giving to me, then the door can open for you in a way that will be less resistant. Because they are trying to get to you. You have a waiting room, you have a gatekeeper, you have spirit that's really trying to help you. And you're a special person who can hear from spirit. And I don't see spirit like physically, like 3D. I see spirit in my head. So I have a picture of your great-grandmother on your mother's side, for example, and she has a great effect on you. As a matter of fact, I think she has your same hair color. I think she had your same bodily physique. But she's here to help you, and she's here to guide you. These are the kinds of spirits that you can tap into. But if you're afraid, you don't have anyone attached to you that's bad. You have no one attached. There's no energy around you. And I would sense it. But part of my contract is I don't want you here if you're not positive. If you're not a white light being spirit, forget it. You don't exist in my world. And there are a lot of people who would disagree with me. And there are a lot of people who talk about exorcism, and they go down a path that I'm not willing to go down. So in my world, there is nothing negative ever from spirit. And once you know, I don't feel any attachment, none. And I mean, Beth does energy work. We all have some kind of connections with energy, and there are people who might say otherwise, but I have no negative energy coming around you. It's all positive energy, but you have fear about it. When you release that fear, you won't be feeling that at all. I mean, I really could almost say that's 100% guarantee. Does that help?
Yeah.
And you know what, and I know your mother's happy to bring you to see me. We can talk about it a lot more. Okay, to Tina. Do you want to hear from someone?
I do.
Okay.
The last 2 years of my father's life, I
Yeah.
took care of him.
Yeah.
And I always had this feeling that I could have done more.
Yeah,
Just
and
seemed like-
no, because your father's here just shaking his head, no.
And that's
no,
what I wanted to
no.
know. I wanted to know how he felt about his care.
He wanted to go sooner than he went. But he didn't want to go. Does that make sense?
He was ready to go.
Yeah, he was ready to go, but he didn't want to go because he didn't want to let go of this physical world, and that's where the fear comes in. But he's showing me, like when people get money and the thing goes up and up and up and up, he's saying that's sort of like a scale. And he says if the care was on a scale of 1 to 10, it would have been a 10. It would have been off the charts. Why? Because even if the care weren't perfect in the physical realm, the spiritual care he got and the love he got from you, even though he says he didn't always deserve it, because he didn't always do everything right by you. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. And so, but he says, but you loved him through it. You loved him through it, and that just...
I did, very much.
And that makes his heart just so happy. So happy. So there's nothing you could have done better that would have been better. It was all really beautifully handled. and you were so good to him and so kind, and he really doesn't feel that you could have done it otherwise. He would have deserved worse treatment. So that speaks to you and your heart and your kindness.
Yeah, he took care of me, and I told him it's time for me to take care of him.
Yeah. And you did. You did. And he thinks you're hot shit. Is that something he would have said?
No, not really.
Well, he's saying it now. It's like, you're hot shit, girl. Yeah. Funny.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Beth, do you have anyone you want to hear from?
I haven't planned on it, but I guess if it was anybody, it'd be my father.
Yeah. There are a lot of fathers here today. And the mothers, I don't know, have taken a slightly back seat, but I see your father with a broom, which is saying to me that he was somebody who came in and sort of took over and did the jobs that needed to be done.
Well, he was here for a mission,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he was very
And he was-
active.
and he was always working.
And he was always working.
Yes.
And when I see someone sweeping the floor, they're like, I'm cleaning
And
up
that's
this
it.
place.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, it does?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And he says, this is something, 1 minute? Oh, shoot. So this is something that he sees you doing. You're taking care of business. You put yourself down, but there's no need for that. So cut it out. I mean, they really get wild. Okay. We can't do other, but you know how to reach me. So if you want another message for today, just call me and I'll give you your message, okay? Because I get started, Buck. It's so hard for me to stop. I just want to say thank you for coming. You have initiated a huge thing here. We're going to keep going with it. We want to involve more teenagers. We want to involve young people, young adults, people with babies, people with kids that want to, understand their kids better, and kids who don't understand themselves, which is why I wrote my book, The Gateway Cafe. It would be a great one for you to read, and I'll give your mom a copy for you to borrow, okay? But it's super cool, I think, even though I wrote it. Okay, so, one word from you about how you feel about today.
Inspired.
Excited.
Blown away.
Blown away. Work.
Grateful.
Grateful.
And grateful for
Good.
your sharing.
And I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. I get excited. Okay, I know you have to wrap up.
Sorry to wrap us up, but it's not like this is one and done. We can rejoin at another time. But thank you all for sharing as you have today. And thank you for tuning in. And we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you.
Buck. Without you, this would not be happening.
Well, it's the folks
And
back
thank
there.
you to TC Media and all of you guys on the crew, right? We are so grateful. Thank you all.
Have a great day.